Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you've been feeling just a little bit overwhelmed by the sheer velocity of artificial intelligence news lately, trust me, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating analysis called Echoes of the Dot-Com Boom in AI Evolution. We're going to take today's relentless blink-and-you-miss-it AI frenzy and compare it right alongside the legendary dot-com boom of the late 90s, because it turns out history actually has a ton to teach us about the technology of tomorrow.
Okay, let's dive into this. The AI wave feels familiar. Lessons from the dot-com era. It's such a powerful reflection on how history tends to repeat itself. It immediately begs the question, have we actually lived through this exact kind of technological gold rush before? Let's find out. Section 1. A familiar tech wave. And this is where we really start connecting the dots. Look, whether you're feeling totally exhausted by the daily AI updates, or you're just buzzing with excitement about what's next, your feelings are completely valid, because psychologically and economically, we've actually been here before. Look at the stark dichotomy here. During the dot-com boom, the ultimate buzzword was just the internet. Every single company desperately wanted a dot-com story. Fast forward to the AI wave today, the mandate is loud and clear. Everybody wants to be AI first. The buzzwords have changed for sure, and the tech is light years ahead, but that underlying psychological frenzy, it is practically identical. So let's briefly look at the defining traits of that dot-com boom back in the late 90s and early 2000s. First off, you had this massive, completely unbridled hype accompanied by heavy investment pouring into businesses. And, well, inevitably, a lot of those companies completely crashed and burned when the hype eventually faded. But here's the really crucial detail to remember. There was no LinkedIn back then. Social media as we know it just didn't exist. Information was super isolated, meaning we generally only heard about the massive success stories or, the spectacular failures long after the dust had already settled. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. You've got the physical, clunky desktop monitors and CD-ROMs of the late 90s dot-com era standing in super sharp contrast to the sleek, interconnected, real-time AI wave of today. So while the delivery mechanisms and the sheer speed look wildly different, the human pattern of hype, it remains strikingly similar.
Section 2. The evolution of delivery. This is where the story gets really interesting. Because it's not just the core technology that changed between these two massive booms. It's how the software itself is fundamentally delivered to us. Technology evolves, delivery models change. Before we can truly wrap our heads around the crazy speed of today's AI boom, we kind of need to trace the chronological journey of how we've actually consumed software over the last couple of decades. Let's move to this timeline and see how this builds over the years. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, we were in the install era. Think physical install CDs and .exe files. You literally had to go out to a store to acquire the software. Then, moving into the 2000s to early 2010s, we hit the desktop era, still heavily relying on desktop software, but a bit more streamlined. After that, everything shifted dramatically in the 2010s with the cloud era, which brought us cloud SaaS or software as a service. And that brings us to now and beyond. Everything as a service. Anywhere, anytime, any device. We went from waiting to physically install a CD to just opening a browser tab in seconds. Talk about a massive shift. Section 3. The modern AI wave. Let's fast forward to right now. So, keeping that totally frictionless, instant delivery model in mind, let's shift our focus entirely to the present day. And we've got to pick up the pace here, because the real-time nature of this tech absolutely demands it. Compared to the 90s, today's AI wave is happening live, in real time. Thanks to modern connectivity, everything is shared the second it happens on platforms like LinkedIn. We're getting hit with new models, massive product launches, and shifting public opinions literally every single day. That isolated information flow of the dot-com boom, completely gone. Today, the boom is instant, it's honestly a bit overwhelming, and it's everywhere all at once. And that brings us to this incredibly profound realization. We are watching the transformation unfold live. Just take a second to let that sink in. The main difference between the dot-com era and today isn't really the scale of the disruption itself, it's our shared experience of the hype. We are all literally sitting in a massive global stadium watching the game play out live on the field, rather than just reading the box score in the morning paper the next day. Section 4. Value outlasts the hype. Okay, let's take a breath and see where this is all heading.
So the crucial point is, how does this game actually end? Let's slow things down a bit for the grounded, authoritative lesson we need to take away from analyzing both of these massive tech eras. Look at this. Hype comes and goes, but companies that solve real problems stand the test of time. You can have all the flashy buzzwords, the instant global distribution, and mountains of venture capital cash, but at the end of the day, underlying tangible value absolutely always outlasts temporary excitement. Every single time. The ultimate outcomes of these historical cycles prove this perfectly. Remember the dot-com era? Despite the spectacular, highly publicized crashes, a few dot-coms actually solved real problems and became enduring giants. I mean, that era literally gave us the foundational pillars of the modern internet, companies like Amazon and Google. They weren't just selling a flimsy dot-com story, they delivered unbelievable value. So applying this to today, this AI era will undoubtedly create its own leaders. And who's it going to be? The winners will be the ones who focus on value, not just the hype. It's going to be the builders who use AI to actually solve real-world customer problems. Which leaves us with one final, deeply provocative question to chew on. When you look at your own projects, your investments, or your company's overarching strategy, are you focused on the hype or on solving real problems? Because as history has clearly shown us, that is literally the only distinction that truly matters in the end.